Hi guys, it's Czura here. Thank you for joining me today on this video about how to find a mentor and 10 steps to go through and build a great relationship with them. It was Rohn who famously said that you are the average sum of your 5 closest people. So choose wisely who you're hanging out with. And the advantages of having a mentor is that you can go through and tap into years of knowledge that they've actually created and gone through themselves and actually save the time for yourself. So there's many ways you can get information from people, by reading a book or listening to a podcast, going to a seminar, going to a networking event. And there's many ways you can get that information, but it's about building those relationships, those one-on-one relationships, what I'm sure you're actually watching this video about. Now, there's a couple of ways you can build these one-on-one relationships, and first of all, and the quickest way is to go through and pay for one. I'm a big believer in paying for coaches. If I want to do any personal training or go to the gym, I'll get a trainer or I'll get a coach. If I've got an area of my life that I want to improve in, I've got a business coach. Matt Catling is a guy based in Sydney. I partner up with him and he goes through and gives me some great insights into my business, and I learn through what he's done over the years. And then I've also joined a number of mastermind groups where I associate with incredible people, and especially people that I really respect. One guy being Lewis Howes, who has his amazing book, The School of Greatness. And in there, you can actually ask amazing questions and get that insight and learnings to go through and excel. But I'm assuming that most of you that are watching this video are looking for how to get it for free, and I understand that. And so there might be people in your immediate circle or some people that you really aspire to that you'd love to emulate and love to connect with. So I've got this 10 quick steps on how to go through and find that mentor and how to build that relationship. The very first point with this in how to find a mentor is know your outcome. So what is it that you would like to get from this relationship? What do you want to emulate? What do you want to improve on? Is it someone that you like their lifestyle? You like their business, their family, their relationships? What is it that you want to learn from this person? And be very clear so that you can go through and approach that person with the right questions. So that's the first step. The second step is to have a short list of people. List out, start with 5 people that you would really love to mentor, and be very clear on each one of those as to what you would like to get from that conversation. What is it that you would like from that individual that you could go through and learn, excel, and get to where you want to be, 2, 3, 4 years down the track, maybe even just a month down the track? What is it that you want to go through and learn? The third thing is any relationship is a two-way street. So how can you add value for this person? So if you're going in and asking this person for something, then it's nice to go through and figure out how can you add value? How can you go through and give something to them? So this might be a little bit of research into their business, what they're doing, where they're at the moment, and perhaps offer some more of your time. See if there's something that you can do to contribute and assist. Maybe it's an idea that you have for their business. Go in and think about how you can actually add value. Now, the fourth tip is really going through and being prepared. So my recommendation is that you get 3 succinct, clear questions that you want to ask from this mentor. And make sure that they're clever questions that are going to help you excel to where you need to be and empower that person to answer that question. So succinct questions. Step 5 is really the contacting them directly. So now with contacting them, you could, if they're in your immediate circle and you know them quite closely, then get on the phone and just ask to have the conversation. If it's someone that you need to be introduced to that perhaps is a couple of steps outside of your immediate circle, ask one of your friends or family member, whoever it is, to do an introduction for you, whether that's either an email introduction or via LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an incredible source where you can go through and find incredible mentors and tap into them. And once you've tapped into them, that's the request where you go through, and my recommendation is just to ask for 10 minutes of their time. I'd just love to have 10 minutes of your time to ask you a couple of questions about X. This is where I am and I would like to get here. Can I please have 10 minutes of your time? Now, the reason I only ask for 10 minutes is the likelihood that they will say yes is far greater than, hey, can we go out for lunch? Can we have an hour? Can I go through and spend more time with you? The chances are they might go and say, hey, 10 minutes isn't going to be enough. Let's go for a coffee. Let's have half an hour. Let's have an hour. But the chances are, if you're choosing this person as a mentor, that they're going to be quite busy people. So think about how you can go through and make it as easy for them to say yes as possible. So 10 minutes, that's my tip. Very first thing to go through, and once you're building this conversation and in the email if possible, is to acknowledge them. You know, make them feel like the most important person in the world. Tell them why you want to ask them these questions. Tell them what you respect about them. Acknowledge them for who they are and tell them that they're awesome. And you know, everyone likes getting a bit of a compliment. So a bit of gratitude and appreciation always goes a long way. And when you get in there and you're meeting them for a very first time, step 7 is all about being impressive. So being impressive is all about, you know, dressing well, being on time. You know, if there's an opportunity, if you are meeting face to face, to pay for the coffee, be present and be there 100% for that person. And throughout the conversation, step 8 is very similar to what I was saying before. So show gratitude throughout the time. So at the start, be grateful. Throw elements of great gratitude by taking notes, really going through and showing how much you're attentive to what they're actually saying. And then on that is, on the leaving, so being completely grateful for exactly where you're going to be. Number 9 is very similar to how was step 3 about adding value. Figure out how you can add as much value as possible for these people. So is there a way you can go through and connect them with anything else that's going on? So can you go through and promote them? Is there an opportunity where you can promote their business in anything you're doing? Can you connect them with amazing people to build their business or whatever they're doing? Thinking about how you can actually build that. Step 10, and the most important step out of this whole thing, is yes, you're going to do a bit of pre-work to go through and set up this conversation. It's going to be a 10-minute conversation, might stretch out to be a little bit more than there's that meat, but really it's the follow through. Step 10 is all about taking massive action. You've gone to make the effort of meeting up with this person, they've gone to the effort of meeting up with you, so whatever words of wisdom and advice they've actually given you, if they follow through and do it. So if they've gone through and say, hey, read this book, go and read that book and follow back to them and say, thank you so much, I've learned X, Y, and Z from reading this book. If they tell you to, you know, to go through and get on top of a new task or get something started this week, have a deadline on it and say, hey, I'm going to get back to you with when I've actually produced this. You know, the most rewarding thing for a mentor is to go through and see somebody who's asked them advice follow through on what they've actually told them and get the results. So they're going to feel amazing. They're going to see you following through, and the likelihood of them wanting to help you again is so huge. So that's a really key step, and I can't stress that enough. That 10 minutes might actually turn into 10 hours of work, but if you want to get to where they are, then you need to do the work. Cannot stress that enough. So getting in and doing the work, and they're going to be more likely to want to help you. You know, the interesting thing is, I think about some of the mentors that I've had over the last couple of years, and nearly all of them have become fantastic friends. I can think of 2 really good mentors that, you know, were massive levels above me in the corporate space that I adopted, and you know, they both and their families came to my wedding. So, you know, that's how close that relationship can go, and that's coming through from following through and building that. So that's my 10 tips, guys, on building that relationship. You know, there's lots of elements. In summary, it's really being clear on what you want, adding value wherever you possibly can, and taking action. That's the really essence of what I'm trying to say here, guys. I would love to hear your progress, and if I can be of any value to yourself, please reach out to me. I'm always willing to answer questions. You have a sensational day. I love you very much. You stay awesome.